Welcome back to A.R.T.'s Real Repairs for Real Customers. None of that fancy boutique stuff here. We do what really gets the job done. And the job this week is this leather seat from a Toyota SUV. The backrest is in pretty good shape, but the seat bottom is dried and cracked, and this seat bottom will need to be totally refinished. That's just about the easiest job we have to do if we do it right. Let's do it. We are going to start with a proper cleaning step because we're going to refinish the entire seat. The upholstery shop had already built a brand new driver's seat, and now we're going to make the passenger seat match the driver's seat. So we'll be changing the color a little bit, and so we're going to have to clean and prep the entire seat. So while we have initially scrubbed the seat bottom with the scuff pad and the degreaser, we don't want to pick it up right away because we want to allow dwell time. Dwell time makes all the difference in the world here in heavy soiled seats. So that gives us a chance to do the same thing to the seat back. Now we're going to come back with the scuff pad again, now that we've allowed that dwell time, and we're going to find that we're twice as effective now in getting that dirt loose of the surface of the leather. And now we'll finish up the backrest. We're not going to show much on the backrest here because we're concentrating on the cracked seat bottom cushion here. And here's an overview of the cracked finish minus the dirt. Now a good portion of the industry is filling these cracks with an air dry filler. But that's not going to work. The brittle cracking will continue to flex and break through the filler. What makes more sense is to remove all of that dried, brittle, cracked finish. And we're doing that with 100 grit sandpaper. We want to take every bit of that off of there. And we're using a product called Sand Away. Sand Away is an emulsion that we created here at A.R.T. expressly for taking off the original finish. The idea is to dissolve what we are sanding and removing that while not harming any of the original finish that we want left on the seat. So if you've been using that product for more than 20 years now you know where it came from. Since this brittle cracking extends throughout the entire of the seat bottom, I'm going to do section by section and take all of that cracked finish down to the original surface of the leather where it's needed. And 100 grit sandpaper is the choice for this. Use nothing less generally. Using less than 100 grit will find yourself working too hard and not accomplishing anything. The time and energy spent sanding here is all the work that we have to do. The name Sand Away implies that we're sanding our work away. There's going to be no filling to be done, no repairs to be done. We can sand it away and we're ready to refinish. So as is pretty typical, if we're not afraid to jump right in and get it done at the very beginning, then we'll find our work so much easier and we get it done so much quicker. Now I'm using acetone to clean up the debris and dry out the surface. And we're ready for refinishing. You can use your choice of primer. I'm using a leather primer here that's rather heavy bodied. That's going to help me even out all of these surfaces, because obviously some surfaces have a finish and certain places it's just raw leather. You could use your color as a primer here in this instance. Nothing wrong with that. As we say, use your better judgment. It may, however, not be viscous enough to make these transitions where we have exposed leather. This armrest is from the driver's seat, as we mentioned. It's a little lighter material. We've made up a color to match that. We hope it's matching anyway. Quite typically, 3 coats is needed to change color, and as you can see, we're quite light on our target color. And our first color coat is going to be wiped in. Not wiped on, but wiped in. We need plenty of liquid, and we're going to use the hydraulic pressure of that liquid to shove that color down into any of these dark lines of grain. I always say you could spray 20 times and not get those dark lines hidden, but wipe it in one time and you're good to go. So Anita asked me if I wanted her to order some new hair dryers. I said, yeah, go ahead. So she added a splash of color to my work here. I've elected on this one just to wipe in one more coat, just to even that out a little bit. Normally it's a one wipe in coat and followed by a couple of sprayed coats. So consider this just an option. Again, use your judgment for your particular seat. Comparing our wipe-in color to our target color, I think we're close enough. Let's go. Before spraying, I want to be absolutely sure that I have a smooth finish. Usually I use either 4 or 600. In this case, I'm out of 600. I do have 1,000 here. Let's try it. Well, nice try, but no cigar. So I'm back to using the 400. That's pretty typical on any automotive seat. The automotive seats are going to be a little firmer on the cushion, so you can get away with the 400 grit. On aircraft seating, it's usually 600. But again, you can see, you can try whatever grit you have and use what's appropriate for your job. Obviously, 400 is required here. And if you want to take 1,000, after that's done, just to finesse it a little bit, by all means, you can do that. Since we've already wiped in our first coat, our first sprayed coat can be a medium coat. And watch how I put this on panel by panel. The reason I say that is for folks that are not accustomed to spraying, usually their seat spraying is very haphazard. And as part of my personalized coaching list, I have this on there as one of the teaching points to establish a good habit. Start by painting section by section. You will have more control getting started. Our final color coat will not be section by section. It will be an overall coating in which we're going to spray left to right and then drop down and right to left and so forth, a nice even coating across the whole piece. I have a funny story associated with that. I was trying to coach one trainee on this overall spraying technique, and he just couldn't seem to get the hang. The left to right, the right to left. So we practiced it a number of times and finally got ready for the last job to coat the piece, and he gets the gun and he makes a Zorro with it. So at least we know Zorro was here. And this is that light overall, back and forth, letting off of the paint in the ends, so I just have air on the ends. So that's the right technique right there for the overall blend. We're going to do the same kind of an overall thing with our high wear clear. This, of course, has the cross linker in it, as did our color coat, by the way. The clear has a little bit of slip additive, and you see me here finishing up the back as well. So I have been putting those color coats on the backrest and around on the back side of the seat also. Time for cleanup. And as Mike commented in one of our recent videos, there's no excuse for overspray. And since Mike is going to be watching this one, I better get it. So this seat is a very good example of how we were able to sand away any prospective repairing, and we were left with only refinishing. And we didn't erase all of the texture of the leather. You can see up close here, there's still some characteristics of the leather. There's still some lines, still some grain. We haven't made it perfectly smooth, but these are typical leather characteristics. And we like it. So as you might have noticed, I haven't posted a video as regularly as I wanted to, but I've been working in the studio. And so for our guitar playing friends, here's what I've been up to close out this video. I have finished up the recording of a solo project. My goal was to pay specific attention to each track so that it was recorded the same way and contributed to the cohesion of the entire project. So the template started with picking the right microphone for the job. I don't have a wide range of mics to choose from, but this ribbon mic served me the best. The mic stand is on a piece of structural foam, 1 inch, that serves for some isolation. And I'm using a footrest positioned right against the foam so that as I'm playing, the guitar will be the exact distance and orientation from that microphone for every track. And if I needed to punch in, for every punch in, exactly the same. Then for the template within Cubase, and this sounds bassy because I'm just picking it up with my broadcast mic, I have a limiter set just to pick the loudest notes and pull them down just a little bit. And I have a limiter on the master bus as well. So every track peaks at the same point. And on those loud notes, you can see it's putting a good bit of compression. But on the rest of the notes, there is no compression, so I still have quite a wide dynamic range. And that wide dynamic range of soft and loud is necessary to pull the emotion into these finger-style melodies. This is an overview in WaveLab of all 14 songs, and you can see they have basically the same levels. And that was the goal, to right there before mastering have everything a similar level for the cohesion of the project. And zooming in, you can see the high and low voltage of that dynamic range in the waveform. So these are the things I'm enjoying learning, and I hope to get better with each project. Thanks for watching.